Well, thanks very much for coming. More importantly, it tells me that you're here because you're interested in the municipal campaign. You're showing your support by giving your time and your efforts, and I appreciate that very much. I thought this is a great opportunity to bring in someone who I consider to be a real expert on the subject, because we talk amongst ourselves, but we don't necessarily have the experience to bring to the conversation. I'm going to introduce our special guest wearing this very fabulous pink shirt. He is a recently retired police officer from 55 Division, and you were there for 25
years.
25 years. He's known affectionately as Officer Rob. His name is Rob McDonald, and he was, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but like a community outreach for 55 Division, very active on social media, sort of that frontline face that was connecting 55 Division with the community. So he's well known, he's got a ton of experience, he's been really helpful when I've asked him questions around neighborhood issues and safety. He's been terrific.
The whole idea of community engagement, community activism, it's really important to me. We've come a long way here, and when Liz invited me, I was all for it. I think what she's trying to do in this community is wonderful. Fresh ideas, fresh face is going to help reinvigorate some great things that could occur down here. So we've kind of evolved Neighborhood Watch into a social media being where I know 55 Division, they monitor Facebook, they're parts of the various Facebook groups, as well as hosting their own account. They will become more active on Twitter. They've promised me that because we had a good following. I don't want to see it go for naught. But it's important. If you see something happening, the first phone call is always to the police. No matter how big, how small, you think it might be something, you're not sure, let Toronto Police be the judge of that. And because everything is recorded, you know, everything is monitored. When at the end of the year, when the superintendent from 55 goes to command and says, yes, reported crime is down, but you know what, the calls for us for service are way up. We need more manpower to address the concerns of the community. And maybe when Liz becomes your counselor, that she could look at this. I've always had a personal concern with the Toronto Police are the only city service, for the most part, that works 24 hours a day. Why are community centers closing early? It's not about the staff's needs, it's about the community's needs. And that should be from licensing, the permits, to right up and down the hours have to expand. This is a 24-hour city. This isn't an 8 to 4 city. Geez, when we can get banks to open on a Sunday, right? That's huge. They've recognized it, so why can't the city recognize that the world has changed and we have to keep up to it? And again, I'm a big proponent of busy streets are safer streets. So if it's a main street like Queen, Dundas, Gerrard, let's have things there that make it vibrant, where people want to be there. We want to make this a walkable, livable city. So if people are walking, their eyes and ears are everywhere. And that's helpful to a safer city.
And I'm going to use that segue on the busy part just to get back to the streets issue, because I know you have some specific ideas. Like, people generally are looking for solutions to the problem being cars racing down. I think there's a solution to a bigger problem, is why are cars racing down them to begin with. So you can get your take on that.
You know what? Unfortunately, downtown is such a busy place, and our side streets have become freeways because the major arteries are either under construction all at the same time, or they're so congested. So everybody is taking, and I'll blame your little GPS units too, for trying to avoid congestion. So people start taking all these side streets. So when Liz and I spoke, when she brought this concern to my attention, I kind of mulled it over a little bit. And it's not a popular, and I'm not a big proponent of it as a cash grab, sitting where people are headed out to highways or on highways. But with current technology, placing red light cameras, even if they're temporary, at the end of streets, right? Catch the speed. We have them for red lights. Let's do it for people speeding. Okay?
And then you had a great idea, which was you make it revenue neutral,
Yeah.
and you take that money and you funnel it back into the neighborhood for greening it.
That was affected
so
by
it's
better,
directly benefiting
yeah,
you.
better, you know, for the community. So if you did get caught in your own neighborhood speeding, that you wouldn't feel so bad because you know your revenue is coming right back to your community, as opposed to some giant money pit that we don't know where it's going to the lake. Every community traffic concern is assigned to them. The one officer, I know she had one particular issue in the community with speeding. She went and started the process to have the speed limit lowered on her own, and worked with the councillor, Mary Margaret McMahon, to achieve it, because she realized there's an issue in that community. Small children, lots of them.
Yeah.
Let's lower the posted speed limit, then we enforce it, and then people get the idea.
And of course, you know, you have to hope there's someone on your street that's got the time and energy to do that, and that's not always the case. So it'd be nice if there was a more uniform approach, I think, to how we deal with the issue in the city, as opposed to hoping you've got that super person who's advocating for you and all your neighbors.
And I know they just shoved through, you know, thousands of more units, you know, at the last city council. They approved. Okay, well, did anybody bother to ask, you know, what's going to be the effect on the various social services,
Yeah.
or infrastructure,
traffic,
police service, EMS, because they're the ones that have to go to the medical calls or the disputes. Anybody, you know, let's add more people. Well, you know what? How are we going to take care of them? And take care of what we already have. So it needs to be more, you know.
I think I call that responsible development, because that's where you're thinking of the big picture.
No, I'm okay, thank you though. Can't believe there's no donuts.
That's fine. Thanks, Mark.